Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, it's Friday, a little later in the day. I'm the Gab, and today, of course, as grandmothers go, I have a great big smile because I have a very special guest whose name is Joey Miller, who, as you all have heard of since age 5, and he's now the broadcaster for the Grizzlies. And Joey, Grizzlies baseball, you tell me.
All right. So the Gateway Grizzlies are a team here in Sauget, Illinois, which is just about 10 minutes across the bridge from St. Louis, Missouri, where I reside right now. You can see my wonderful bedroom behind me.
Love the drapes.
Yes, all the accoutrements that come with my interior design choices of nothing. And the Gateway Grizzlies are in the Frontier League. And to those asking questions of what level of baseball that is, it is technically minor league baseball, but it is not affiliated baseball. So we are a Major League Baseball partnered league, meaning that a lot of these guys either come from the minor leagues, from affiliated ball clubs, or they're kind of like a mid ground to get to the big time. So this is kind of like a purgatory for some very talented athletes, but it is professional baseball, and I'm honored to be
From
the
all over the
broadcaster.
country and or world, right?
Yes, we have some stars from Japan, I
Oh,
believe,
yeah.
in the league, and a couple other places, Dominican and Puerto Rico, and all the locales of baseball stardom. So we see some former big leaguers too. So it's fun to see. We actually we're coming up on a series against the Joliet Slammers and their head coach Dan Schlereth, son
I know that name.
of former Bronco Mark Schlereth.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
see some
okay.
familiar names here in the league.
The son of, oh, what fun.
Yep.
Have you met him yet?
No, but I will in a couple weeks when they come to town.
Well, I must say, as a grandmother, I think since about age 5, you either talk to me about food or baseball. And if we have time, we can get around to the changes in baseball. But before we do, being that this is what I call food talk, more or less, I know that you have all sorts of dining things because if you didn't have this career, you should be a restaurant reporter or critic. So tell me about dining in the city of St. Louis.
Well, I would love to. So as soon as I got here, I basically asked everybody around the office, some of my local friends, and even some of the Grizzlies players themselves of their favorite restaurant spots. And I've kept a tab on all of the ones that they've recommended to me in my notes app on my iPhone, which I'm reading off of in today's episode. And I've separated it into places that I've tried and places that I need to try. And I'm here to obviously talk to you about the places that I've tried that have been some great hits, some slight misses, but other than that, it is a lot of food that I have tried.
There's no
Not a lot of healthy food.
strikeouts.
No strike. Well, close strikeouts, but I try to keep a positive spin on things, as you did in your restaurateur career as well. You never want to down a
Well,
restaurant for
I just ignore them. That's fine. They'll take care of themselves.
sure. But I guess I'll kick things off and kind of just go down the list of places I've tried. So I live in an area called Soulard, which another name for it is Benton Park West. It's kind of like a little locale area. St. Louis is basically a bunch of different neighborhoods. There is no one St. Louis, so to speak. But in my neighborhood, there are some great places to eat.
Oh,
Uh,
fun.
my favorite place so far that I've tried is called Blues City Deli. And then I go there for lunch when I'm at the office. I'll drive back across the bridge to Missouri and grab a sandwich and go back to Illinois and do my notes in the office. But Blue City Deli is kind of like a Cajun, not really Cajun, but French Quarters style deli. They got
Okay,
po'
this is
boys.
not a Jewish deli.
This is not a Jewish deli. Far from. I live in a very French Catholic region. There's actually a Catholic church, old Gothic style Catholic church across the street from me that I hear a bell every hour on the hour. I don't need an alarm anymore. But the Blue City Deli, fantastic stuff. I've been there twice now. One sandwich I was not a huge fan of, and one sandwich I was definitely a bigger fan of. The one that I was not a huge fan of was called the Apocalypse Pretzel Witch. Now,
Oh,
this thing,
I couldn't even say it.
yes. This is definitely a sandwich for a day off, not a day of working, as it is very heavy. It is, I believe, some form of pulled pork, bacon, cheese, no redeeming nutritional value on a pretzel bun. And yes, it was delicious, but I did not feel great afterwards.
I
On the
believe
other side of things,
it. Yes.
however, I had what has been one of my favorite things so far is the pastrami that they do there. Old school. You can get it on rye bread, you can get it on all those sort of things, but it
Like a
really just comes.
regular deli.
Yes, but it comes with three ingredients, and that is their 24-hour slow smoked pastrami under some cherry wood, and it comes with I believe Swiss and what is it? Is it Düsseldorf or Dusseldorf
It's,
mustard?
yeah, Dusseldorf. That's okay.
Dusseldorf. But just those three ingredients, I get it on sourdough, and it is a fantastic pastrami sandwich. It's not stacked high like a Jewish deli would, but it is very delicious.
And
And
it's
they're
different than Jewish pastrami. If I
different.
walked in, would I know the difference in the taste of when I get at the bagel?
Yes, the bagel is probably one of my favorite pastramis. Of course, she's referring to the Bagel Deli in Denver. Um, I think that the Bagel Deli definitely does a great job with portion size, and their meat is a lot more cured, as this
Okay.
pastrami really focuses on that flavor of the smokiness of
Oh,
it, and
okay. Then it's
it's a
good.
very delightful sandwich. Yeah.
Okay.
On top of that, they have a lot of fun options for chips and drinks and potato salads. They make their own cookies in house. They're all delicious. And all these fun soda options. There's a lot of actual local soda brands here in St. Louis. That's something that they're known for, with the Anheuser-Busch company being here. But um, you can find a variety of different things every time you show up to this place. So
Okay.
for this one, and in my notes app, I give these a score of out of 10 based on overall atmosphere, taste, experience, all that. This has got to be one of my highest rankings so far. I gave it an 8.9 out of 10.
Well, for you, that's good because you're much tougher than I am.
I am a tough critic. Yes, I rarely give out anything over a 9.5. Um, and then I can also talk about some other stuff in my area, such as Lona's Lil Eats, and that is Lil. Lona's Lil Eats. And now, if you're a fan of spring rolls, as much
Yes.
as I am, that is what they focus on. You can get bowls and all that stuff, but what they focus on is you can kind of create your own spring roll wrap, and
Oh,
it is the size of a burrito. It's not the size of a spring roll, but it is a spring roll just bigger, and
in
that's your
rice
meat
paper?
in rice paper, correct?
Okay.
And I think recently I had something with shrimp and glass noodles and veggies, and it was all delicious. Like a lime peanut vinaigrette and a spicy sesame sauce, which did have a nice kick to it. It was definitely like a deep soy sauce flavor with some heavy kick to it.
It sounds great. You're telling us places to anybody who happens to be watching, what I would call less expensive eats, where
Yes.
people who just want to get a bite and have a good time and hang out.
Yeah, I haven't been to too many, sit down places, as things have kind of been coming at me fast in the 3 weeks that I've been here.
Well, I want to hear
And
about these places, but then I want a quick wrap up of some baseball questions I have. So go
okay,
with this.
I'll keep going through. There's not too much more. There's some chain restaurants that I've tried that I also reviewed, like Crazy Bowls and Wraps. I like it just because it was a vegetable, and it's hard to find places with just healthy food around here. and I've been doing my best. But on the other side of things, if you want something completely unhealthy,
Yes.
High Point Burgers is a very popular burger chain here in St. Louis.
Okay, but I
Um,
like burgers.
yeah, no, it's absolutely delicious. A great burger, great taste. The meat to cheese ratio is very important to me on a burger, and it's perfectly melted and blended. My one complaint is that it was very
Ugh.
greasy. But the French fries, and I'm the toughest critic on French fries. If you want a traditional, perfect textbook French fry, go to High Point in St. Louis. There's typically long lines for these burgers, and they're very popular, and I see why. Their fry sauce is delicious. It comes with like mayo, ketchup, vinegar, and
You're
cayenne pepper.
making, I'm starving before I started this. Now I'm really,
Yes. Well, I mean, we're here to talk about food, of course. Um, and I'll move on. I gave High Point Burgers a 7.8 out of 10 just because it was kind of hard to park downtown.
oh,
Um, but other than that, great service, great people. I think the person who served me food is actually from Colorado, so that was a nice
oh,
little
yay.
connection we had there. Another great place, or great places here that they're known for is barbecue. Maybe not so much as the counterpart across the state in
Where your
Kansas City, but
grandmother came from, yes.
yes, yes. But there are two barbecue spots that I have been to. One that I have been to before coming here to St. Louis 3 weeks ago, and that was Pappy's Smokehouse. This was featured on the Food Network for being some of the best ribs in America,
Oh,
and they are very, very good. Um, and
yeah.
additionally, the Stellar Hog was also a small little place in this kind of neighborhood town. I had a chat with some people at the bar there saying that I chose the right spot.
Oh,
And
good.
I would even go as far to say that the Stellar Hog exceeded Pappy's Smokehouse only slightly. Um, but other than that, oh, and their Brussels sprouts were quite great.
Oh, I
Uh,
know somebody who would be thrilled with that,
yeah.
like your
So,
father.
yeah.
Okay, you,
Um, Yeah, so I gave the Stellar Hog an 8.2 out of 10. Um, onto more Jewish cuisine. My co-broadcaster Jason Garrett, he is from New Jersey, and he said he was struggling to find as serviceable as bagels go in the Midwest compared to where he's from in New Jersey, New York, where of course bagels are king. Um, but he said he's found one spot since he's come here that comes very close to New Jersey, New York style bagels here in the Midwest, and it's a new spot called Lefties. Lefties is in Chesterfield, so you kind of have to drive a little bit west if you're in the city. But really great bagels. They're small, they're cheap. The bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich is a great way to start the day. They also do pastrami, lox, and all that sort of stuff, but
oh,
they
well,
keep it very simple in
so you're
terms of
not
flavor.
starving.
No, I'm not starving. I'm still getting around, and a couple other places. I'll have two more places to mention here. One of them is in my neighborhood. It's called Mayo Ketchup, and it's right by Benton Park, which is a beautiful park to go walk around in, fairly safe area. Um, and it kind of comes with these bowls and burritos and not necessarily Mexican food, but more Caribbean style, Dominican, Puerto Rican. You got the tostones, you got the mojo chicken, pulled pork, um, all these fresh flavors, delicious food. I had these empanadas and that are made in house, and the tequeños with it's basically a puff pastry dough tube with queso blanco and guava syrup. So you kind of get that sweet and savory. Um, Absolutely delicious. I
Okay,
gave that a pretty high score.
one fast question. Ketchup mayo, is that everything is served with ketchup and mayo?
No, and it's called mayo ketchup, and that is kind of like the side that they serve with the empanadas and stuff like
Okay,
that.
that's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was asking. Okay.
Uh, yeah, and then one other last place that I have tried. Um, I tried this yesterday, as a matter of fact. I was really looking for a good place to find good poke because I'm a big fan of poke bowls. Do you know what a poke bowl is?
Yes, sir. To our audience, it's tuna.
Well, yeah, it can be tuna, raw salmon, shrimp, a variety of other things in a bowl with rice. And it's kind of like if you like sushi and you like a lot of sushi, try a poke bowl. It comes from Hawaii. It's delicious. But this poke place called Poke Doki, clever name. Um, it had a lot of fun options for what you can put into it. Kind of expensive, but one of the options for meat that you can put into it is an entire soft shell crab, deep fried. And
Right
it was,
there.
do you like soft shell crab?
Love it.
Yeah,
Adore it.
it was absolutely delicious. And obviously, you know, if a poke place does not taste good to you, it's typically your fault because you decide what goes in the bowl. It's kind of like a pick and choose kind of place, and at the end of the day, it's on you.
Unless they have bad fish.
Unless they have bad fish, of course, but this place definitely had some delicious fish.
Good for you.
Um, yeah, so that is kind of
Okay.
my so far experience. Another place I quickly wanted to mention, not in St. Louis, but back in Colorado, that reminds me a lot of mayo ketchup. There's a place called Taino's or Tino's Caribbean Cuisine. It's in Broomfield. It's a ghost kitchen that I discovered on DoorDash that's becoming more of an established restaurant. These two brothers, I believe from the Dominican, they started this. They started doing it on DoorDash. They're only open 3 days a week from like 5 to 9 p.m.
Oh dear.
Very exclusive hours. Yeah, very exclusive hours. But they're trying to, make it big. They're trying to, get their own restaurant. And I recently looked them up, and they have their own website now
Tell
where
me
you
the
can order.
name.
So it's Tino's. It's Taino apostrophe S
Okay.
Caribbean Cuisine.
Got it.
Um, and their website for anyone out there who's looking to
Yeah.
look them up is eatwithtainos.com. That's again eatwithtainos.com. Check out some of their food. Great owners. I had a chat with them last time I was in. Really home style cooking kind of vibe there. They got some great food from empanadas, tostones, arepas,
Now
tres
I'm
leches.
really hungry because I can go there.
Yeah, it's not as far for you as it is for me right now, but one of my favorite things there is the Cubano sandwich. Of course, you really have to do a lot to impress me with the Cubano sandwich because typically it's the same ingredients for
Right.
all Cubano sandwiches, but this one is it comes with mojo pork, which is marinated in citrus and lime and all these wonderful spices. The ham is fried in Wagyu fat, I believe. It does not, it's not as heavy as you think, but it
Right.
is very delicious. Obviously, the pickle and the mustard and
Sounds
uh,
great.
all the other stuff that comes with the classic Cubano. But
It sounds
I still have a lot to discover here in this
okay.
town.
Well, we'll do more, but we only have a minute or so left. Here's the two things. Well, I want everyone to like and subscribe to the Gab on YouTube, and that's GABB. You'll see this on the Gab, on Instagram, and Facebook. But Joey, do you like the new baseball faster?
She's referring to the
Minute.
pitch clocks. Yeah, the pitch clocks are basically speeding up the game of baseball where a pitcher only has 15 to 20 seconds to throw a pitch. It is speeding up the game significantly, cutting games by as much as a half an hour to an hour. As a broadcaster, it is both bittersweet, or it is bittersweet for me, I should say, because I don't have as much time to tell stories. But on the other side of things, it does get me out of the ballpark a lot faster.
And
So,
to all the people who are watching and they want to hear you broadcast, How will they do that?
Well, the Grizzlies baseball season home opener is on Tuesday, May 16th at 6:45 p.m. Central Time. That is 5:45 p.m. Mountain Time if you're in Colorado. And you can tune in. You go to the website. I believe it's gatewaygrizzlies.com. And there's a tab.
Gatewaygrizzlies.com.
Gatewaygrizzlies.com. And there's a tab saying broadcast and listen live. And it is a radio style broadcast. And you can hear myself alongside Jason Garrett for the first 6-game homestand starting on Tuesday, May 16. And I hope you guys tune in. You can also chat in the Mixler chat.
Oh, wow.
And talk with us live on the broadcast. So I hope
Gatewaygrizzlies.com.
Yes, Gateway like the Gateway Arch, which is not too far outside my
You
window.
don't have to open it.
I don't have to.
Okay, well, it sounds wonderful. You sound wonderful. I love you to death, and I'll be listening, and it's a fun time. Your descriptions are fabulous. Loved it.
Love you too, and I hope you have a great weekend. And thank you for having me on.
And to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Love you, love you. Go
Much
have
love.
fun. Bye-bye.